Hello, lovelies. Welcome to my channel. Unless you've been here before, then welcome back. It's good to see you. I'm Mina, and I would like to share something that I consider magical, and that would be miniatures. In particular, today I would like to share with you some miniatures that I created using items that I purchased at my local Dollar Tree. I love doing that, making miniatures out of things that you wouldn't initially think of to make miniatures out of. Things like trash, random items from the Dollar Tree or any kind of dollar store, that kind of thing. And I have been inspired to give my hand at trying some of these. So I went to my local Dollar Tree, purchased a bunch of things, brought them back, and over the last far too long, I have been turning those things into items that can be used in a 1/6 scale dollhouse. So Barbie-sized, basically. And yeah, I'm pretty pleased, spoiler alert, with how, how they turned out. So I thought I would share with you. And hopefully this video is interesting and fun enough if all you want to do is watch it. But if you, like me, like to make miniatures or dollhouse things, or you have kids or children in your life that you would like to make this for, hopefully this video inspires you. And all of this stuff was made fairly recently, so there is a good chance that if you go to your local Dollar Tree, you will probably, maybe most likely find most, if not everything there, so that you can replicate these things for yourself, if that's what you want to do. No pressure though, you don't have to. You can totally just watch for the sake of watching. That's cool too. Okay, well, that was awkward. Let's jump in to the making, shall we? I think that's a good idea. Okay, let's get to it. Here's the selection of goodies that I picked up from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to see what I can do with it. Keep watching to find out. I'm going to start this project with this table, which I got from the toy section at Dollar Tree. It's a really nice little wood table. I thought it looked better, but wow, was it put together very messy and off-center. And so I ripped off the tabletop from the legs, which was clearly a process, but that's okay, because I have this contact paper that I'm going to cover the tabletop with. So it's going to look nice in the end. I picked out the marble effect contact paper, and I cut a rectangle that's big enough to cover the whole, like we're wrapping this table in contact paper, because I don't want to have to secure those the splintered edges. I don't want to have to worry about gluing them down or sanding them. They're getting completely covered so that there's no risk of splintering. And I'm building this for like doll display, toy photography, so it doesn't matter if it doesn't look perfect. To get the contact paper to wrap all the way around the table, I had to cut these little strips to help it go around the rounded corners. And that made it look really nice and smooth on the top and around the sides. The bottom looks a little janky, but you know what, that's okay. Even if it was for play, it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, you saw what the original looked like. It clearly wasn't perfect to start with. Anything is an improvement. Okay, so after I finished covering that up, I added another little rectangle of contact paper, and this, what I'm doing here, oh, by the way, if you can't rip the paper, like if you can't separate the contact paper from the paper on the back, if you just give it like a little tear, you'll rip the paper but not the contact paper, and then that'll give you a starting point to take the paper off. And this little rectangle is just going to smooth up the edges of all those little strips and give the tabletop a nice smooth surface to glue the legs back onto when the time comes. So I set the tabletop aside. Ooh la la, so pretty. And now I'm going to use my black paint. This did not come from the Dollar Tree. You can use Dollar Tree paint. I don't remember where I got that from. Probably Michael's or something. But that's not important. You can use whatever black paint you have or whatever color. If you're going for a different color scheme in your dollhouse room, or if you're making just this piece to go with something else you have, pick whatever color you need. That's awesome. Or, don't try it. Just watch this, for farts and giggles and whatever. No pressure. Anyway, so I'm painting my legs not my legs, my table legs, black. Oh, voiceover awkwardness. Anyway, so I paint the base of the table black, and I'm painting every single surface. This was a really nice wood. It didn't need to be sanded or primed or anything before I could just slap on the acrylic, and one coat was all it needed. It was very awesome. Oh, shout out to the plethora of people here on YouTube who have done these kind of challenges, the dollar store stuff to miniature Barbie accessories and sets and stuff. I think that's really cool. That's where I got the inspiration to make this. So thank you to that community. So I'm going to set this aside to dry once it's all painted. I picked up these I guess they're like dowels. They're a little bit thicker than the ones that I normally use for miniatures. But I thought I could do something with them. So I'm going to take 3 out of this package. Like so. And while I've got the black paint out, I'm going to give them a coat for a nice cohesive look with the theme, I guess, that I'm going for in this room. It's not really a theme. I guess it's a color scheme. And there's the last one I'm finishing up of the 3 small dowels, painting every surface, all the sides, top and bottom. Just making it look all pretty. Doesn't it look pretty? And then I set them aside and let them dry. And now for a wash my hands break. Now this gorgeous silver cylinder with its disheveled speckled pattern is a tea light, which is really stiff. It was difficult to flip. Oh, it's so nice and bright though. It's gonna be really pretty when I'm done with it. So what I'm gonna do with this tea light is take the dowels that I had painted and some hot glue, and I'm just going to attach the dowels with the hot glue onto the tea light. And the second one. These voiceovers are so cringe. Sometimes I have too much to say and I can't fit it all in, and other times I'm just like, how do I stretch this out and add more? Like now. But here you have it. I have glued all the dowels, and when I flip it upside down, the tea light and dowels becomes a floor lamp. Isn't that clever? It's so pretty. I found this little plant. I don't know what the purpose of it is because it's so small. I mean, it's perfect for miniatures, but it's got to be useful for something else. Anyway, I really liked it, except that it was really, really loose. So I just popped the plant out of the pot, got my hot glue, which was working really slow. Just pumped a bunch of glue in that styrofoam hole and reinserted the plant. Voila. It's now a perfect plant. And if you got one that was in better shape, you wouldn't have to do the gluing part. You could just buy the plant and pop it right into your miniature, and it would be perfect. These little paper drawers seem to be a staple at Dollar Tree. I've seen them forever. And I got them a while ago, and I used them as storage, but this time I grabbed two. I thought, let's do a little something different with them. So to make it easier to work with, I pulled the drawers out. Now, the first time I did this, I didn't pull the drawers out, and it didn't work. So I recommend pulling the drawers out. And I ended up flipping them and putting the bottom to the bottom. I just think that looks better because the bottom, you'll see, is like a flat, solid color, and the top has the nice pattern. If you get one that has a pattern, it has the pattern on the top to match. And I don't know, when they're squished bottom to bottom, you just get that nice flat color in the middle, ta-da, like you see right here, and it just looks better than having that broken up. You'll just have to take my word for it. It's hard to explain. Anyway, with the drawers out, you can see that it's much easier to squish and get a good connection. So it ends up looking like one piece as opposed to two pieces that were just glued together. And then pop the drawers in. I like that sound. Oh yeah, that's a good one. These are such pretty drawers. They have them in all sorts of colors. I've had them in unicorn before, but I really like this leaf pattern. Then I grabbed just a couple plain plastic pony beads. I went with white, obviously, because it matches the rest of the decor. And I'm gluing them in the corners. I'm just using hot glue for this craft. If there's a better one that you're aware of, then go for it. Hot glue may or may not actually be the best glue. It's just the one that I found worked, that I had on hand. That's what I went with. And those little pony beads end up being feet on what ends up being a dresser, and it's like perfect Barbie-sized. It's so cool, and the drawers actually open, so you can put things in and literally use it for storage for Barbie. So cool, love it. I'm going to be using these Dollar Tree version of magic erasers. They come 2 in a pack, and I bought 2 packs, so I have 4 erasers. And they're just simple white sponges that I hope to make a chair out of. This is kind of what it's going to look like, except as it is, it's too low for Barbie. Like, it doesn't even come up to her waist, really. So, gotta fix that. I ended up cutting one of the sponges in half lengthwise, and I highly recommend using a craft knife or an X-Acto. If you've got one instead of scissors, you'll get a much better cut. And I'm using hot glue for better or for worse. I've been using hot glue a lot on this project. It worked-ish for the most part. If you know of a better glue to use, I highly recommend going that way. But hot glue worked for me. So now I can put the back on top of the base of the chair, which raises it up a little bit higher and makes it more of a comfortable back height for Barbie. And I glue that on like so. I also recommend putting down like wax paper or something so that when you're gluing, your project doesn't stick to the table. So to figure out the armrest, I'm using the chair pieces I have as a template, marking where I want to cut. And then you can use the boxes as a ruler. I thought that was pretty clever. So I cut that again with a craft knife, And then I cut one of the little scraps. You'll see what I'm going to do with those in a minute. But the big piece that I've got, I'm gluing on, obviously, for the armrest. And then those little scraps are getting Frankensteined together to be the second armrest, because that's all I had left. I ended up taking 2 extra dowels from my lamp project, and I glued beads. They're just, they were letter beads. I glued those on the bottom and then painted that whole thing black, leaving a little bit in the middle. I figured if it wasn't painted, it would snap easier, which I think it did. So I snapped those 2 in half. So I had 4 dowel pieces with beads glued on the bottom. And then I just rammed those into the sponges. I left the edges sharp. I figure they're going to be inside the sponges, so it won't cause an issue. And for my purposes, this is going to be more display than play, so I don't have to worry about sharp edges. If you're making this for play, you might want to sand those, but then you'll need to use something else, like a toothpick or something, to start the hole that you're going to put the dowels in, because if they're blunt edges, they won't go into the sponge as easily. So I used my Barbie my daughter's Barbie, to help me figure out what height I wanted the chair at, and then shoved the dowels as far as they needed accordingly, and then I pulled them back out to glue them back in. A little redundant, I know, but this way they'll be where I want them to be, and they won't move. So that's the convoluted instructions on how to make a magic eraser chair. I got this canvas from Dollar Tree, but it was actually quite a while ago. It's a 3" by 3" square. They used to come in a 3-pack. I don't know if they still do, and I don't know if you can still get them in black. But white works just fine. I'm just putting some duct tape on the back so it stays in place. And then I'm going to pop it in a salad spinner, which you can see is caked in old paint. That's what the salad spinner is for, not for salad anymore. This actually also came from Dollar Tree a long time ago. Now I just drip some paint in the colors of my choosing. I have chosen to go with like teals, aquas, white, to match the general color scheme that I'm going for in this doll room. I'm just gonna drip them willy-nilly, and then I pop the top off, and I'm not going to show you yet because I decided to zhuzh it up a little bit while it was still wet with some splatters of black paint. I ended up putting too much paint on the first time I was dripping, and it covered up most of the black, and I wanted to bring that back. So I used the old toothbrush splatter paint method to get some nice little drips and dots all over the place. It's a really fun and messy addition to the painting. And then when that's all done, ta-da! The finished piece. Time to see what all of the Dollar Tree miniature creations look like all together. Before we do that though, I just want to let you know about this little room that I created to put all the little pieces in to make a cohesive room. And to do that, I used foam board from the Dollar Tree, 1 floor piece and 2 wall pieces. The walls are 13 by 15 inches, and the floor is a 13 by 13 square. One wall I have kept just the plain white. I don't know if it picks up on camera, but there are some dents where I wasn't the most gentle with the foam board. Hopefully the furniture will cover that up and it'll look nice. I may end up changing it up and doing something else with it. But for now, I wanted to see what a plain white wall would look like. And then on the other side, I put like an accent wall. So it's the same foam board, but covered with contact paper. The same stuff that I used to make the table, but this is in a different pattern. A lovely cloud-like blue and white. I really like that. And then for the floor, I meant to just get a placemat, lay it down, glue it, and then cut the extra. But I ended up getting a rectangular placemat that was smaller than I had expected. So it was long on one side and too short on the other. I had more than enough material though. So what I ended up doing is cutting strips and gluing this down plank style, like laying a hardwood floor. It's okay. It's not the neatest or prettiest job, but it works. And the difference in the pattern and the texture, I think, really hides some of the flaws. So it's all good. Okay, now for the furniture. Let's start with the dresser. Maybe we'll put that in the corner. That might be cute. And then it's too much white. It looks a little crowded. How about, let's actually put this here and then maybe diagonal. Okay, that's kind of cool. Now we'll put in the little floor lamp. And with this one, I went ahead, I didn't like what the top looked like. So I took a piece of sparkle foam. I traced the bottom on the sparkle foam and then cut it out. So I had this nice little circle shape. I pulled off half, it's a self stick. I pulled off half of the paper so I could stick down half so I can still flip it to turn it on and off, but cover it up so it doesn't look so, mechanical, and obviously it kind of looked cheap that way. This way looks much nicer. Okay. Behind the couch, maybe? Let's see how that... it's cute, but you can't really see the legs. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay. And then we'll pop in our plant. Maybe right underneath the lamp. That's kind of cute. A table. Put in front of a chair. And then for the artwork, I've just put some pieces of tape folded up on the back, and that way I can stick it, and then if I don't like it, I can, remove it. Or if I want to change around the setup, I can move the painting, add to the wall, whatever. So let's make sure it's in frame. Maybe above the chair. Well, that's kind of cute. All right, and then just to zhuzh up the room a little bit, I went ahead and made this pillow. It was actually a towel that I had knit for a different miniature, but it ended up being too thick and looked out of place. So I just folded the little rectangle I had made in half, sewed up the edges, stuffed it with, I think it's extra cotton batting from other projects. Oh, that's cute. And then, you know what? I think we need to elevate this just a little bit more with a quilt to cover up that chair and make it look not so Yeah. Okay, that's cute. That's cute. I like that. All right. Let's put Barbie in and see what she thinks. Nice. Oh, I like that. That is cute.